1, 2, 3. The end.
Hey everyone, this is Ralphie here, and we're gonna do another commentary for one of these videos because I'm playing a Dudley mirror for this one, and it's just a little bit, it's a little mundane if you don't have some commentary, just kind of explaining what's happening. So right off the bat, I kind of noticed that this Dudley really likes to go for just sweep, and then also going for just random buttons, and so early I'm kind of getting hit a lot because of that, but I make the adjustment once I see that, okay, this is just something that he likes to do. Like for example right there, right? Like he just kind of does a unprovoked machine gun blow. Sometimes I'll do that too, but I definitely don't just kind of randomly throw it out like that. Like he's done that twice now in the span of like a couple, I don't know, like 10, 15 seconds. And look at the meter difference, right? Like I started out the second round with 2 meters and he has not even 1, right? And here, I had recently just played a set of games where I'm kind of getting a lot better with my corner control and just pressuring somebody in the corner and not letting up. And that's kind of why you see that I dropped that super on the ducking upper earlier, just because I'm so concentrated on that. So as you can see here, again, I'm just constantly focused on getting them in the corner. And so I win this first round, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, this Dudley's not too bad. He's about the same level as me. Maybe I can learn from him. Maybe at the very least I can kind of get better at this matchup. And something that I noticed about these sets is that I should have gotten better at anti-airing him, because he loves to kind of just jump in unprovoked. He has really no kind of discipline with that, so that was something I should have gotten better at. And usually I am pretty good about it, just doing like a crouching fierce, but not in these particular sets, I feel like.
Are you ready? Go!
Yeah, and you can see he just loves going for that EX machine gun blow, which really is not something I think you should do as a Dudley player. Like, you need to save that meter for, you know, EX whatever, EX Shoryus, and you need to save it for, you know, I'm using it a lot here, but you know, you need to use it for that. You need to use it for canceling your ducking uppers and the super arts, and just, you know, punishing people with EX machine gun blow when you can actually land it with like a, you know, a standing roundhouse, right?
Final round, go!
And there, I mean, you saw that he just kind of like lost a life lead. He had life lead and he just kind of lost it without any kind of decorum, and that was kind of interesting too. And here you see I have the corner again, but yeah, this guy he kind of just does EX jet uppers just randomly, and that was kind of annoying. Like I didn't. Usually people are a little more disciplined in terms of like when they decide to counterattack, but he doesn't really do that. But look at this. One of the problems as a Dudley player that you should be aware of is that you should not just let your opponent walk out of the corner like he did. That's how you kind of lose the life lead and you kind of lose the pressure game. And you can see he's still like, as a Street Fighter 3 player, let me just say that you can't just not learn from your mistakes. He just kind of constantly does these EX machine gun blows. I don't think he's ever landed a single one in any of these matches, so it's very strange that he just kind of keeps going for them. And I just want to say there, when I just jumped in instead of doing ducking upper like I was supposed to, it's because the input is actually kind of strange. Like because if you just land the roundhouse and you take your stick and you go immediately to the sixth position, it sometimes doesn't actually do the ducking upper. Like for whatever reason, I found that with Street Fighter 3, it actually likes it when it's a little bit higher. Like it's closer to, your stick needs to be closer to a 9. And so you can imagine, like, as you land a random crouching roundhouse, like you do that move and it's just like, and you swing the stick back to a 9, sometimes you just get a jumping motion instead. That's kind of why that happens. And you can kind of see like the difference in our styles, right? Like I like to go for more of a throw game, and that's because I've noticed that he doesn't process very well, like once he gets hit. Like he has this kind of like strange game plan of, let me try to jump in, let me try to do some random EX machine gun blows, let me, you know, throw out these random like fierces, like that's my plan, you know. And I noticed that when you start hitting him, he doesn't really have a good plan aside from, you know, his own, you know, EX jet uppers, and also he doesn't you know, he can't process like a dash grab in time. And so I thought that was really interesting, and I kind of just kept taking advantage of that.
Prepare to strike now.
But you see, I still respect him as a player, right? Like I'm not just kind of like doing random goofy stuff. There, I was like, this guy does throw out a lot of buttons. Let me see if I can just catch him with something like that. Never jump like that into the corner yourself. That's just, you're just asking for it there. I know, and again, just I know I'm kind of like hating on this Dudley a little bit, but you really need to, like, as a Street Fighter 3 player, you need to have like a good kind of mental map of what you're gonna do on Wake Up. So you see how there I knew, okay, I'm gonna go for a crouching roundhouse. I haven't done that in a while. I think if I catch him, I win the round, right? You can't just let your opponent just kind of wake up with like no consequences. Every knockdown is an opportunity. Even if it's like a knockdown where it's like far away, you can either like capture space, or you know, you have to do something, right? I don't know what that was. I don't know why he just went for a EX machine gun right there after a throw. Don't do that, guys. Don't do the ducking upper without doing the actual uppercut portion of it. And oh, something else I wanted to mention is that if you notice, he cancels the ducking upper into Super R3 after the first hit. That actually loses out on some damage, I've realized. You actually want to cancel it at the second hit. And since you're doing the ducking upper and it hits twice, you might as well give yourself the extra kind of timing of being able to cancel it after the second hit anyway. So just something to know if you're watching this video, something helpful to take away there. So this is where I noticed that he was actually somewhat adjusting to my game, right? So I like to go for like these throw rose heavy setups, and finally he realized, hey, I don't have to just block these roses. I can actually, you know, like I can use a move that hits the rose and it goes past that one hit, and you know, ultimately does something, right? And so he wakes up with super here, and I don't punish him for doing that. Until way later on, I realized that I figured that maybe that was just like a one-time occurrence. Again, he jumps into the corner for no reason there, something that you should not do. And I do believe that I make the adjustment after eating like another Wake Up Ultra or Wake Up Super, but I don't think it's the very first time. Definitely not the first time.
Now.
Don't do that. Don't ducking upper or ducking whatever the other version is, and then cancel into super without any confirming, without anything. Dudley has so many good moves to use. You really shouldn't be doing that. You can confirm your super arts. Do never do that. Yeah, I think this is just an unfortunate round where he got the life lead, and once you get the life lead, it's so easy to kind of just turtle and not do anything, like because your opponent now has to come to you, right? And in a mirror, it's not like the opponent has any other tool that you don't have, right? So it's kind of difficult when that happens, and you know that happens to me like anybody else. I let him jump out of the corner there. I probably should not have done that. And I just want to say, like, how he did that. He just kind of like randomly did cross counter right in front of me. That actually happens to me too, and I think it has something to do with just like the motion of the move. Like, if you let your stick go too far back, I think that happens just because of the way the input system works. So okay, I think this is the last time I get caught with that. I think I realized that I need to block after the roast to punish him, but hopefully that's the case. We'll see. Yeah, I think this just whole set I was really bad at anti-airing his jump attempts here. Well, I did get one there, so there is something. Yeah, so one thing I should have noticed about these sets is that when he's in the corner, he likes to just go for neutral jump, and you can actually blow that up with just ducking uppers, but it was just not something that I was kind of observing at the time, and that really made it difficult to kind of run my typical pressure game. When the opponent just blocks, it's very actually easy to just kind of get whatever you want. Like, you can just kind of run through your flowchart of like, okay, overhead, low, grab. Like, you can do whatever you want. I will give him this. Like, even though I don't like his playstyle. Like, he plays very almost too risky. I got caught by again apparently. So terrible of me. He is very aggressive, right? And that's something that you actually kind of really need to do as a Dudley player. You need to kind of constantly keep your opponent on the back foot, where he's not kind of thinking like, okay, what am I gonna do next, right? Because if he can think that, then as a Dudley player, you're kind of at a disadvantage.
Now, find a new rival. Into the heat of battle. Go for it.
That's the thing with mirrors, is that sometimes you're just kind of trading like random straight blows with each other, and it's just it's not that entertaining. But I think there's a lot to be learned about the actual matchup if you watch this video. Where, you know, you kind of see how like even like a difference in play styles can really change the way that the match goes, and like, you know, like what your Dudley feels like. See, okay, so that was the first time I realized that I needed to block after those, because after eating so many of those, but the thing is, it's not optimal for him either, because it's only like a three hits of the super arm. He's not getting the last hit, which I think does the most damage. So it's not optimal for him. But see, now I figured it out, and I kind of punish him accordingly. See, notice that I canceled after the second hit. It does a little more damage that way. So this is where I'm kind of pressuring him. But again, I notice how sometimes he's able to jump out after he does one neutral jump. Just being able to do that neutral jump and not being in a knockdown state. It really just kind of helps your game. But I did take that
Prepare
round.
to strike. Now.
Yeah, the footsies for this this matchup is actually kind of interesting because on one hand, you know, you have the jump, just the regular sand roundhouse, right? Like that just kind of claims a lot of space in neutral, and if you randomly throw it out, you can catch your opponent. But what I try to do in a lot of matchups is just use the crouching fierce as kind of a way to blow that up, because if you react to the fact that they're throwing that out there, you can kind of just catch their standing fierce as a result. But yeah, I do have trouble sometimes just kind of like when your opponent is kind of just doing random stuff, like not coming up with the optimal solution to kind of like blow up their random like crap that they're doing. So here, like, my opponent just constantly doing backswing blows, constantly doing standing fierces, and I'm sure I was trying to parry them. I'm sure that like I wasn't just kind of getting hit by them and like going like, oh man, what do I do? But sometimes like you go, let me try to parry this, and then you just never get the timing right in the actual round. And you know, when that happens, you kind of just go, well, what can you do? I do believe at one point here I start playing Ryu. It might be here. Yep. Yeah. So I just kind of tired the matchup. It wasn't that like I was losing. I just got bored. And I wanted to see, you know, what does this guy do when I do like when I start spamming fireballs? Like, is he actually able to kind of do something about it? And the answer was mostly no. He wasn't able to really do much about it. Yeah, and if you're a Dudley player, I advise you to actually go in the lab and kind of test this out, like what ranges you need to be at to kind of punish fireball users, and how do you actually react to a fireball, because it's not actually intuitive. It's not just, oh, he throws out a fireball, let me do my ducking move to avoid it. You actually kind of had to have like a specific timing. Never do that. Never just do ducking, duck into super for no reason. It's never gonna work. Because the super freeze actually, because your opponent doesn't have enough time to react, right? Like sometimes you can catch people with a move because they're reacting to something, and then you're using the super to kind of react to that and cut off their reaction, right? But if you just do ducking into super, like, it's not gonna work. Again, he cancels it on the first hit, which you should not do. I am purposely kind of like not going out of the corner here because he is relatively consistent with his punishes. So if I just kind of randomly jump out with a Tatsu, it's not gonna work out for me. So I've realized that I should cut down on that and just try to stay in the corner, and you know, and this guy's corner pressure is not good enough that I'm scared. So that's another thing. See, every single time he's about to corner me, he backs up. And as a Dudley player, you should never do that, because when your opponent is out of space to kind of walk backwards, that's when Dudley has the advantage, because Dudley has target combos. He has ways to close the distance really quickly. He has excellent normal in the forward medium kick that closes the distance and is, you know, cancelable into super and all this other stuff. So you never want to just like get to the part where your opponent is at the corner and then not, you know, not follow that up with more pressure so that you can actually get him into the corner. Yeah, so here is not really much to say except that fireballs to pressure him. I'm still not quite. I need to get better at recognizing the jump, the neutral jump into elbow or whatever. Like that's kind of been an issue for me. I've noticed that throughout these sets. Well, that's one of my, so if you notice there, I do a backsash and then I go for the forward medium punch. That's actually one of my, so if you ever play me and you watch these videos, that's actually one of my favorite things to do, because it's a great Oki in the sense of like, it continues the pressure, but at the same time, it's a little bit safer. If your opponent decides to wake up a really fast wake up option, like, you know, EX you or something like that, you can block it. And when you dash backwards, you're kind of telling the opponent like, hey, I'm not gonna follow up with the Oki and pressure you more, right? So they get kind of caught off guard because of that, and it's just a really great way to continue the pressure as Ryu. Yeah, see, I'm also kind of like training him here because he literally cannot throw an EX machine gun, and that's kind of the whole point, is that, you know, well, what does he do? Because I was thinking to myself, you know, as much as I would like to play this matchup forever, the mirror, what does he do when there's like a projectile in his face? What does he do when there's normals that beat out his EX machine gun flow? And for the most part, it's, you know, not do anything. And again, as a Dudley player, don't do what this guy does, which is, oh, he's throwing fireballs at me, let me back up so that I can react to them. That's actually not what you want to do. You want to stay in the range where your ducking upper connects when you actually duck, and once you have landed like successfully, like even one or two, your opponent gets a message, oh, I can't throw fireballs anymore, and all of a sudden that pressure in the neutral just goes away. See, yet another reason why you shouldn't throw out that move in neutral. At the wrong range, it doesn't fully hit.
Are you ready? Go!
I do like the fact that he reacts with he wakes up with neutral jump sometimes. I think in neutral I almost never do that because I just don't think that that's practical, but he's kind of shown me that, hey, you know, if you do that, your opponent is like not pursuing Oki on you and just waits for you to wake up and then makes a move, it actually kind of works, right? See, it looks good when he lands that stuff, but he landed it like what, once in these entire sets. It's just not, as a player that just you know, watches pros, I'm like, there's just no way this is like a good idea. Yeah, I think one of the other problems is, as a player, when you're down a life, you actually need to kind of accept, like, I think that in order to win when you're down on life, especially when you have like 0 health, is actually just accept that you're gonna die, and then play from there. Play as if you have full health, because if you don't, you do stuff like that where you're doing something like ultra desperate, and it's never gonna pan out in the sense of like, you know, once in a million years maybe you'll catch them with like a dash in, right? Or like, you know, maybe I did a Tatsu there and then that short, you know, that jet upper works, but it's like not really, right? Like most of the time that's not going to work. And I think as a player, what you need to do is just say, I have no health, so this round is basically lost. So let me play like a half health so that I can at least get to the point where my opponent is on the back foot, right? Because if I get to the point where he has the same health as me, he's the one in a bad spot now, right? I'm throwing out that medium punch just in case he does a ES machine gun there, and also to build meter, but I was so.
Into the heat of battle.
Oh, he was actually blocking there. He wasn't even trying to parry it, and just mistimed it or something. See, I do end up trying to anti-air sometimes. I've never done, as a Dudley player, I never personally do just like a regular jet upper, just because I don't think that ever works, but you're free to try it if you want to. By the way, if you ever play me, I love to go for that setup where I get you to right before stun, and then I'll probably backdash, throw out that overhead. That's it, guys. And if you like these sets, please like, comment, and subscribe. I know you 3S fans are out there, so until next time, I'll let Dudley say it.
The end. Down for the count.